Most people design their desks to be as comfortable as possible, but mine? Sort of the opposite, because in the past, a focus on comfort is what was actually killing my productivity. This setup isn't built for cozy complacency, it's built for flow, and this workstation, purposely less comfortable by design, keeps me sharp and focused on the only thing that matters to all of us at the end of the day: results. Kicking things off with the furniture, the foundation of my setup is 100% Ikea. The desk itself, I've gone with this 2x4 foot metal framed desk called the MITTZON. Although it's their smallest size because I live in a condo, not only is it enough for the 3 types of work I do, it's also extended on either side by 2 other pieces by Ikea: the Raskog cart on the left and the Alex drawer unit on the right, which of course I'll go into relevant detail soon. But to round out the furniture speedrun, we've got the chair. We all know that it's a bad idea to stay seated for too long, and although this long Fjall chair from Ikea is quite comfortable to me anyways, it's most certainly nowhere near a gaming chair or those $1,000 ergonomic thrones. I chose it because after borrowing a friend's, I find the cushioning to be perfect for supporting my butt and the lumbar support to ensure that my back never hurts. But this base, no hurting comfort that doesn't cause pain is also just uncomfortable enough to encourage me to get up and walk around. You know, refill my water and just move my body every hour or so. With the furniture out of the way, we can move on to the tech, accessories, and trinkets, but it's of course important for me to share the types of work I do for those considerations to even make sense. So let's quickly speedrun that as well. If you've been with me for a bit, you know my real job, I'm at the metal fab shop for a portion of the week, but when I'm working from home, it's a ton of client and prospect calls and Zoom meetings, which occupy about 30% of my time at my desk. The next 50% are all keyboard and mouse heavy tasks, whether it's research, writing things like emails and reports, or using creative software like AutoCAD, Photoshop, or hey, editing videos like this one. The last 20% still involve the computer, but also involve other hands-on tools and resources, especially for my newest attempt at entrepreneurship, designing products for travel and everyday carry. And because those tools need to be organized and nearby, I suppose it's a great time to share what's in these 4 drawers and how the entire unit is all set up to be the perfect sidekick to the main desk. And as we go drawer by drawer, I'll also share the one thing that has enabled me to even have a chance at this newest attempt at entrepreneurship, and it's this segment sponsor, Shopify. And so heading to that drawer unit and popping open the top drawer are my most frequently used supplementary tools across all types of work: poking, cutting, a bunch of cleaning tools, as well as all my labeled external hard drives, which, just like Shopify, having right here on the left-hand navigation all the most frequently accessed tools for a solopreneur like you or me to start, grow, and manage a business. The second drawer is all about creation, my product design tools: caliper, a micrometer, Pantone book for color communication, more measurement tools, magnifier for examining fabrics, and of course, stuff for sketching. And that's where Shopify really shines too. I can design and customize every detail of my online store all without touching a single line of code. It's like having a full-time graphic, web, and image design studio in a drawer that come together to create a visual experience that's crafted to showcase and sell what you create. The third drawer is for consumables, the things I use up and have to restock. And Shopify handles that side of things too. Managing inventory, tracking what's low, what's selling out, it's all automatic and at a glance, which means I can skip that tedious stuff and spend my time on truly impactful moves that this desk setup is meant to support in the first place. And the bottom drawer, that's where paperwork gets filed away. You know, invoices, bills, receipts, all to make tax season more bearable for my primary business. You see, when it comes to my desk setup, using the contents of these 4 drawers, it's still me that ultimately has to do all the work. But with Sidekick by Shopify, this friend right up here, it's like having a dedicated employee who goes through all 4 proverbial drawers of my Shopify store. Because Sidekick by Shopify combines powerful AI within the context of your business, so whether it's gaining valuable insight, like seeing how many customers live in a specific region for effective targeted marketing, or as a non-professional to simply ask Sidekick to create a comprehensive financial report, downloadable in one click to send to my accountant come tax time. And best of all, if you're ready to start offering your own products to the world, Shopify's been kind enough to let me share an exclusive trial offer, which you can claim by scanning this QR code or by visiting shopify.com/Maurice Moves. Thank you so much to Shopify for sponsoring this portion of the video. But with the drawer unit out of the way, let's talk tech. Because I need to ping pong frequently between the workshop, client visits, and nearly 6 months of business travel per year, when on the road, I must use a laptop, and at the time of recording this video, I'm still using the nearly 5-year-old 16-inch M1 MacBook Pro. To eliminate the risk of damage from a spilled drink, that MacBook Pro is elevated with this laptop stand. For deep work and especially multi-app work, having a larger monitor is helpful to me, and this 27-inch ultra-sharp 4K Thunderbolt hub monitor by Dell has been awesome. Just one single Thunderbolt cable into my MacBook Pro both powers and transfers data back and forth and broadcasts the image to the screen. And because, as you saw in the top drawer, I use a lot of external hard drives, and being able to push here and have this multi-port sub-hub pop out makes plugging drives and card readers in and out seamless. And to keep the desk as clutter-free as possible, it's mounted to the desk with this desk clamped mount. Continuing on with tech, let's go with the peripherals, and for the keyboard, I'm using this mechanical keyboard by Keychron called the K10HE. Beyond the appearance, which I love, in this matte white finish with rosewood accents, when I'm doing the stuff that's most annoying to me, bookkeeping for my primary business. Unlike the MacBook Pro's keyboard, having this number pad has become a must to make that painful yet necessary task of dumping numbers into spreadsheets as quick and intuitive as possible. My favorite, though, is the magnetic switches. This keyboard is so much quieter than my previous mechanical keyboards, and hey, the lighting effects are a fun touch when I'm working super late. Next up is my mouse, or rather my lack of a mouse, and this is yet another example of intentional discomfort. You see, spending so much time on the road, I of course only travel with my laptop, and the MacBook obviously only has a trackpad. So not only am I already used to using a trackpad, if I had a mouse here at my work from home setup, that would cause a constant pattern interrupt every time I switch back and forth between trackpad and mouse. So yes, although a mouse is a more efficient and ergonomic controller, to maintain continuity, I use the less comfortable Magic Trackpad by Apple at my desk as well. Next up are my speakers. These are the U2s by Kanto, and their output and sound quality are incredible, especially given their size. But beyond the necessity for monitoring and balancing audio when editing videos, music and general background noise is something I personally need when working. Last up in tech are my charging-related peripherals. Even though this Ikea desk has this integrated power bar, you'll notice that it's quite empty. Because I spend a non-insignificant amount of time on phone calls and Zoom meetings, pretty much the only thing that's constantly plugged in is this wireless charging dock by Ugreen, which charges both my phone and my AirPods, but also this wireless charging stand combined with iOS's standby mode makes a great at-a-glance desk clock. The last charging peripheral also gets us into the Trinkets section, and it's this guy. This 100-watt charging brick called the Uno. It's cute, so it just hangs out over here as a robot-looking toy, but since I use that wireless keyboard and wireless trackpad, I do need to charge them periodically. So take off the Uno's feet, plug it into the power bar, see that face light up to validate there's juice flow, then grab the two USB Type-C cables from that top drawer and get to charging, so by the next morning both the keyboard and trackpad are charged and good to go for another month or two. To round out the trinkets, next to the Uno is this crab pen holder, since one of the weirdest things I do is scribble every morning into this 5-year diary while I have my morning caffeine. And it's enough of an odd tradition that I like using a dedicated pen for it. And next to that is this miniature version of that Ikea Raskog cart where I store my SD cards and a USB drive. The next trinkety thing is underneath the left speaker, and it's this analog kitchen timer. I use it when I'm experiencing task block, where for one reason or another, I just can't freaking get going on a given task. For me personally, I found that a visual 20-minute attempt helps, where I rotate it over to the 20-minute mark and just tell myself, do anything that moves the needle until that dark green disappears. I purposely don't have the alarm turned on, since surprisingly often those 20 minutes just naturally turn into focus flow for much longer. Might not do it for you, but weird how visually anchoring time can do wonders for me. The last trinket is this miniature version of me and my car on the top right speaker. I like it because sometimes when I'm really stuck, especially on a big challenge or a big life decision, going for a drive and finding somewhere peaceful does wonders in getting the gears in my brain to start turning in a new way. And over the years, the outcomes of high-stakes decisions I've made while leaning up against my car after an aimless drive are special enough for me to find comfort in revisiting those times right here at my desk. Before sharing the most important thing though, it's funny. For something as simple as a desk, this little space ends up shaping a lot of who we are. This isn't a perfect setup, it's, as you saw, not the most comfortable by design, but it works. Because it reminds me of something important. Progress doesn't always feel perfect. In other words, I think the goal isn't to make work easier. As cheesy as it sounds, it's to make it yours. Because when your workspace reflects who you are and how you work, even things like purposeful discomfort start to feel right. And this leads us naturally to the most important thing. Like most of my other videos that show any products, although most things are linked down in the description, what works for me may not work for you, so please don't make knee-jerk purchases. Especially for this video, because the furniture and physical tools represent less than 10% of the actual results themselves. The other 90+% comes from here and here. You know, clearly defined goals, self-awareness of what motivates you, and genuine care for the results that you want. And if you want to gain clarity for yourself for that 90+% of results, you will definitely want to watch this video right over here. If you're feeling lucky though, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen for a few seconds so you can choose which one to watch next, but while you're deciding, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drops.